Hello, my name is Yanis. This channel is about journey from low self-worth to love, and in this particular video I'm going to talk about why it's very important to incorporate anger management in your healing journey. In this video I will in details talk about the negative effects that anger can have on our lives, and with also some real life examples from my own life, and I will also share some techniques that you can start immediately apply to manage your anger. First thing to understand is that if we are talking about anger, especially the one that is suppressed very deeply inside of us, then we might be tracing it back to our early childhood. There might be a time when we were small and we experienced some situations, events in which we perceived ourselves and we felt some feelings and emotions. Might be that we felt defenseless, powerless. We might have felt injustice to us. We might experience some sort of abuse or hurt by some other people who were maybe bigger, stronger than us. And this event led us to froze this energy because we did not know how to better deal with that. And we probably also formed a belief about ourselves. Maybe that we are weak, etc. Not enough. And this belief serves as an anchor point, energetic anchor point, that can build up to even more negative energy, momentum. And this anchor point stays in our energy field and we carry it around us. And we are very different in experiencing similar events because we perceive ourselves differently and uniquely to our own nature. There are people who suffered enormously in early childhood. They were abused, but they were able to transform or transmute this energy of anger that they felt in the moment, and that helped them to become very strong already since early childhood, and they were able to become very successful in certain life aspects, both externally and some people also internally. But there are also a lot of people who, when they experienced this negative event in the past, it didn't turn out for them immediately that they were able to use this energy as a drive or as a fuel, as a motivation to become strong. There are many people who, while experiencing abuse, became a sort of diminished versions of themselves. They started to view themselves as less powerful, and they suppressed the anger. It's like they decided to put brakes on them, brakes on life. So they did not transmute or transform this energy into something positive or practical in life. We have to also understand that it is also possible for those who were able to transform this negative early childhood situation into something good and show up in life as more powerful versions of themselves. It's still possible that these people still haven't completely resolved this inner anger moment when it first happened. It can still be in their energy field, but they are simply able to use it more positively than others. So this video is especially useful for those people who feel like they experienced a very bad childhood trauma and they were not able completely to recover from that. So this is a good starting point to address this. And before I start talking more about effects in detail, what suppressed, unprocessed and unreleased anger does to us, I want to say a big thanks to my twin flame who shared a lot of information about anger, and this video wouldn't be possible without her. If you want to check out her YouTube channel, it's called Lilith's Energy Healing, where you can find very useful practical healing content as well. So let's get back to the video. So effects. What are the effects? So if I would have to define anger in one sentence, then I think the very precise wording would be that anger is like a poison, and the more we carry it inside us, the more damage it can do to us over time. And unprocessed anger really messes up our own core vibration, because our vibration is a combination of different things, and if part of it is an anchor point of anger, then it hinders our abilities to reach our own goals, our own dreams. And anger is like a poison. The more it is stuck in our energy field, the more it can start to negatively impact our thoughts in a negative way. It can impact our behaviors that lead to negative results. It can also impact negatively our health. And energetically speaking, anger can create these like chunks around us in our energy field that is attraction point to energetic toxic parasites that are very happy to get to us and feed off our energy, our own life force. From a manifestation viewpoint, anger as a negative attraction point can contribute to attracting unpleasant things in our life, and it affects us on multiple levels, on mental, on emotional, physical, and also energetical level as well. If I am specifically speaking about myself, my own experience, how anger affects my life, I can tell you that anger has served like a barrier, or like a wall that is between me and my own true creative potential. And so you can see how important it is to release this anger in order for me to access my potential. And also there was a very strong inner hysteria inside me, strong lack of self-confidence, indecisiveness, stress, anxiety, and it was all related to this suppressed anger. And in order for me to be able to release this hysteria and overcome it, one huge important step for me is to be able to release this suppressed anger, so I can access my deeper potential. So that's one example. Another example is that anger in my life has contributed to deteriorating health. It has manifested in a life-threatening disease that thickens blood, and it led even to me going over 2 brain surgeries, because this thickened blood was causing extra pressure in my head, and it endangered my eyesight. And in order to prevent me losing my eyesight, I had to go through these brain surgeries. And I'm sure I'm not the only one example in terms of how anger can negatively affect health. And in my case, anger was, when it thickened my blood, it was almost like creating armor from this outside external world, because as I mentioned earlier, I discovered that there was a huge inner hysteria inside me, fear, anxiety. I was scared from this world. And this thickened blood basically symbolizes also how the life force has slowed down, clogged up. So it needs to be dealt with. What are some of the other aspects or effects of anger? And this is also what I have observed in my own life, is that anger can build up quite quickly without us even noticing it, if we are not aware enough, and if we are not expressing ourselves authentically. And one of the things is that if we suppress anger and it continues like that for a while, it accumulates more and more, it builds up more and more and more, until we reach a point where we, or our inner system, is not able to deal with that any longer, and there might come a time, an irrelevant situation, when we suddenly explode at other people. Maybe a child did not do something that, or in a way that we would like him or her to do some things, or our partner, or friend, or our colleague, and we just erupted like a volcano. So in this way, effect is that unprocessed anger leads to us hurting our closed ones, and it can greatly hurt our relationship. I remember that in my case, in my relationship, I started to experience that my own anger started to express itself through my twin flame, because I was not addressing it enough, and so this anger started to express it through my own twin flame, and she started to yell and scream at me, and until we understood that, oh, those were not her angers, but actually mine, which was almost like a call of desperation that, come on, Yanis, really address this issue yourself, and don't pull others into this. They are not guilty that this is happening. It's like universe is working through other people, external mirrors, so you can become aware of that. And one more thing about anger and relationships is that if we don't manage our stuck anger inside of us, that can make us controlling and very judgmental, and irrelevant life situations can trigger us pretty quickly. For example, a man experienced in his early childhood some events that he felt injustice, and he felt weak, he felt powerless, that he was not able to protect himself, and he formed a belief that he was not good enough. And now he's an adult man, and this same man has a family, and he has a child. Child is also young, and when child, for example, does something that reminds this adult man his own painful childhood situation or memory, it can trigger the adult man, because it's a painful reminder to this man that he was weak in his own perception about that childhood situation, and his ego wants to compensate that. And when he sees that his own child is not able to maybe do certain things and needs help, or just doesn't know how to do it, or does in a different way, that can trigger the adult and to become very judgmental, controlling, and commanding and demanding to do things in his own way. Why? Because that's ego's way to compensate his inner feeling of not being good enough, and in this way of judging other, diminishing other, the ego makes itself to look better. But there is still this painful childhood memory, and when child does something that is not accepted or perceived as okay, then this is a potential trigger point. If we don't like something in other people, a quality or an aspect, that means that it's also in us, this unaccepted quality, and we don't want to see that, we don't want to accept that. And in order for us to truly heal, we need to incorporate this shadow or dark aspect of ourselves, and other people are only mirrors who reflect this back to us and allow us to see ourselves in a different light. This is the part where we talk about how do we manage our anger, or how do we start to release it, process it out. The first thing is that, and this also comes from my own journey, is that it doesn't matter even if you are not aware or you don't feel this anger inside of you, at least on a surface level, and it might be difficult for you to spot it, it's still very important to manage it, because when I started my healing journey, at first I didn't even pay attention to such an issue as anger. I thought that I was generally a calm guy. I did not express any anger externally to other people, or if I did, it was very rarely, and it didn't register to me in my mind that it was something that I actually had to deal with, and I did not really embrace such thing as possibility of suppressed anger. And it turned out in my case that it was actually a lot of suppressed anger, because I also suppressed my own memories, painful memories from traumatic childhood years. So I forgot about that completely, and by starting to embrace different spiritual practices and methods, I came across that actually this is one of the biggest things for me that I need to really address. And the more I started to work with my anger, the more I started to also remember my painful memories. More memories started to come up. There are many methods, and it also depends on spiritual practices, but there are many. You can find a full internet with different methods. What I like to do is I combine different things to work for me. One of the most important thing for me, and this also came from my twin flame as a suggestion, is that I do raging activity. Raging is like when I go and find a quiet or free space for myself. It can be closed, it can be in nature, and I simply express myself through loud screams, yelling, hitting, throwing things, punching my chest, like gorilla, activating my thymus gland, just running, jumping around. That's the way how I rage. And there are days when I feel that emotions have come up, accumulated on a surface level, and I need to release them in a different way. And sometimes anger is in a combination with other emotion, maybe sadness, and that's why when I use writing, I write out in a journal all my feelings, my thoughts in the moment, and I do that for 3 pages. And when I feel that, oh, okay, it's done, and after that I burn this paper, so the energy is transferred out from myself through hand, through pen to paper, and transformed into fire. That's the second technique. Another technique is I apply energy exercises that I use my body, different movements with my hands, including also breathing exercises. A good reference point in this context is Donna Eden, energy medicine. She's really helpful, and there are probably a lot more energy exercises that you can do, and breathing techniques as well to release anger. So that's the third thing that I do. And from time to time I also try to cleanse my own chakras through chakra massage, and also doing some auric cleansing exercises. But there are many ways how you can do it. I would suggest, if you haven't tried, then first start with one thing that resonates the most with you. Give it a try for some time, then you will have a feedback, and then you can make a decision whether to continue or add something new in your arsenal. Going out inside nature is also a great way. It helps to release from you stuffed emotion and thoughts. I also like to apply lymphatic system point massage. I pressure them, and because our lymphatic system not only physically but also energetically stores waste that needs to be let out of our system. Lymphatic system, yes. And also sometimes I do a short prayer, simply ask my spirit to aid me. A little bit more about raging, which I find a great tool for anger release, is that even if you don't feel in the moment on a surface level anger, or you're not angry particularly, you can try to trigger yourself. If you feel like you can do that, you can definitely do that. You can try to think about some frustrating topic that really bothers you, or you hate, or maybe some person that has done wrong to you in past, or some event. If that helps you to get angry, then go ahead, because through these surface, or sometimes even more generic angry thoughts, you can trigger a deeper thoughts and memories over time to come up, when you first release these surface thoughts. So triggering can be very beneficial, because anger energy is anger energy. It's the same energy. Even if you start with triggering yourself, you can come into contact with deeper, more suppressed anger. So that is one tip before you try raging, if you don't really feel like doing it. When I do raging, I like to find a closed space. Either it's room or car, sometimes it's forest. It's a space where I feel safe, that no one will disturb me, and also I won't frighten others with my screams. So that's the first thing that I do, and before I unleash myself, I also set an intention, and I ask my spirit. So it creates a safe energetic container for me, so no external or energetic disturbances and parasites cannot prevent me or negatively impact this process or feed off me. That's how I do it. I also set an intention that whatever comes up and whatever needs to be transformed, transmuted, or released, so let it be. And after I'm done, it is also very important to cleanse this physical place of where this raging happened. If it's room or car, it's good to use some sort of cleansers. I use Santo Paulo tree, or you can use also crystals, or you can visualize that purple flames are cleansing this space, or all the way it goes down into the ground core, or it gets sucked out of the window and away safely into the space. When I rage, I yell, I hit, sometimes I smash plastic bottles, throw them away, I hit pillow. So if I am in a forest, then I can break some trees, and yeah. And in outside nature, I don't cleanse physically the space as I do if it's in house or car, because nature is different. It is self-sufficient in the cleansing itself. Signs of progress for me is that when I first started raging, I did not feel any particular reaction or sensation in body, but now when I do it, sometimes what happens is in the moment of raging, tears also come up, or even sometimes crying. That is a good sign that I am accessing deeper suppressed emotions and pain, and I am getting it out of my system. For you, it might be different things, but also the same as I said about myself. Sometimes also I feel that there is bodily tingling going through my body, and especially in heart chakra center when I scream. So it's also a sign of energy in motion. What about results? In my case, now that I have worked with anger more, I can tell you that sometimes after I rage, I receive creative ideas. I receive nice solutions or insights. That is a very, again, a good confirmation that when I released the old energy, the new one can come in, and so that is results that I get. So yeah, that is also showing that your inner potential is gradually releasing. In the end, I want to say that managing anger is definitely both for all genders, and also especially for men who feel frustrated, maybe stuck in their current life situation or current conditions, circumstances. Maybe they are scared about their ability to achieve certain things. Then anger release might be very good, and potentially, like in my case, it might be one of the keys to releasing your inner potential. So thank you for listening and watching to this long video. This video was about anger and its importance to incorporating it in your healing journey. I'll see you in the next videos.